What's going on, everyone? We all know about the Kevin Durant to the Boston Celtics trade, and the package is centered around Jaylen Brown. It's likely going to end up being Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, or Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and maybe another role player. Some picks will be involved. That is likely the case scenario if he is traded to the Boston Celtics. Now, there's no guarantee he is traded to the Celtics. It's not even so much about him being traded to the Celtics, but more so of why would the Celtics want to trade for Kevin Durant, and why would they want to give up Jaylen Brown? It's a big question that I see constantly in the comment section. Even when I'm doing live streams, people ask that question in the live streams. Like, why do the Celtics want to trade Jaylen Brown? It makes no sense. He was their best player during the playoffs and also in the NBA Finals. And if Jason Tatum just showed up, they might have won the NBA championship, right? And here's why. So when it comes to Jaylen Brown, he's not going to sign a contract extension. And the reason he's not going to sign a contract extension is because he makes more money based on the extension rules if he becomes a free agent. The problem is that the Celtics are worried that Jaylen Brown is going to walk, that Jaylen Brown is going to leave because he wants to be the number one guy. And as long as he is on the Celtics, he's always going to be the number two because Jason Tatum is just so great. So he wants to be the number one guy, and he gets basically the same amount of money anywhere he goes. So for him, the incentive is like, I still get to get paid and I get to be the guy. This is my team now. And so that is something that could be an issue for the Boston Celtics. And that is why they want to trade for a guy like Kevin Durant, because the way they're looking at it is in 2 years, Jaylen Brown could walk. And even if we do say try to trade him next season, who's to say Kevin Durant's available? Who's to say anybody even close to Kevin Durant's available? And so are we trading Jaylen Brown for a bag of peanuts? Are we hoping that maybe Jaylen Brown sticks around? Like, what ends up happening? And now that Jaylen Brown has been thrown into the trade conversation for Kevin Durant, he's feeling spited, which I completely understand. Like, the way he's looking at it is like, dude, like, I was the only guy that showed up. Jason Tatum, we probably would have been better off with him not even on the court in some of those games. I was the dude putting up 20-point fourth quarters. I was the guy putting the team on my back. And yet now you want to trade me for Kevin Durant? So it just adds fuel to the fire of Jaylen Brown potentially leaving the Celtics in 2 seasons. And that is a real concern for the Celtics. And another example of this is why DeJounte Murray got traded from the Spurs. Many people wondered, like, why did the Spurs just give up DeJounte Murray for a bag of peanuts? Like, what is going on here? Why? And it's because the Spurs knew he's not going to sign an extension because he gets more money if he doesn't. And is he really going to re-sign with us, who is a rebuilding team? Because he could get the same amount of money elsewhere. So we're probably going to lose him, and we're not going to get anything for him, and we're still going to be bad, and it's still going to be just a weird position. But DeJounte Murray is good enough for the next season to at least make us to where we're not a fully tanking team. So do we just embrace the tank this year, or do we wait a year? And they decided to just embrace the tank this year and traded DeJounte Murray. That's why he got traded, because that's the whole concern and fear with a guy like him and a guy like Jaylen Brown. Now, the difference with Jaylen Brown is that Jaylen Brown, he is on a contender. But the thought process is if we go get Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant, he's an upgrade over Brown, which is true. He is. And he's a more fluid scorer, right? Jaylen Brown has to work for his points, right? He has to really go get 30. Where Kevin Durant can just basically show up and get 30. And I know a lot of people think Kevin Durant, he was shut down by the Celtics, this, that, and the other, but that's not exactly what happened. Go watch the games. Go watch the defensive schemes for the Celtics. The Celtics literally just let everybody else on the court shoot and do whatever they want. I mean, Kyrie was getting like 30 a game, all that stuff. Like Seth Curry was getting wide open looks, everything. Even the announcers in the games were like, dude, the Nets have to have, set the record for most wide open threes. There was all these conversations about Boston is just not very good on the perimeter this playoff series. Like, what is going on? And it's not because they weren't good at the perimeter defense. It was that their whole game plan was stop Kevin Durant and make everyone else beat you. Kevin Durant is the engine. He is the heart and the soul and everything. every time Kevin Durant either got the ball or was in a position to get the ball, he had two bodies right up into his chest. They made Kevin Durant take either a terrible shot or they made him give up the ball. And that was the entire Celtics game plan. Now, if you're the Celtics and you have Jason Tatum, teams aren't going to be able to do that to Kevin Durant. You're not going to be able to just leave Jason Tatum wide open because he's too good of a scorer. And they have a bunch of other guys that are really good that can really help and elevate this team around Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a guy that he's going to get you the same, if not more, than Jaylen Brown, but on a better efficiency. And that is what the Celtics are looking at. And you have him for at least the next 4 years. And that kind of lines up to everyone else's contracts. So worst case scenario, Kevin Durant, he leaves and that's it. And, hopefully you win a championship or two within that 4-year period. If you didn't, then you didn't. But Kevin Durant leaves, and basically all you have is Jason Tatum, and that's basically it, assuming they don't take any major salaries or anything like that. So now you can kind of rebuild around Jason Tatum. It gives them possibilities. But Kevin Durant would be a guy that they believe can take them to the next level, and he is a guy that might not be available when it's time to trade Jaylen Brown. And the real concern is Jaylen Brown leaves, especially now. I mean, this just added more of a reason for Jaylen Brown to leave, right? Because now he's looking at it as dude, I was your guy. I was playing second fiddle. I wasn't happy about that. But hey, you know what? I still showed up. I came to work. And now you're trying to trade me? And look, Jaylen Brown is an incredible talent. He's a guy that has every right to feel upset. But if you have the choice between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, you're trading Jaylen Brown. And that's a reality that Jaylen Brown, I think, is starting to see. And we've seen Boston do this before. I mean, IT is a great example, And so I just think Jaylen Brown is going to look at this as you want Kevin Durant? Okay, trade me for Kevin Durant. Now, he's not a guy that's going to go there and just, cause mayhem. He'll ride out his contract. He'll try to win a championship with the Boston Celtics if he ends up staying. But once his contract is up, Jaylen Brown is probably a goner. And Boston fears that. So do you go try to get a Kevin Durant now that you have for the next 4 years? And, you're upgrading, and you still have Brogdon, who basically can replace Marcus Smart. You still have, Time Lord. You have Grant Williams, very likely you end up keeping. Let's say, you keep Derek White. You have Derek White. You have Davis, the rookie you ended up getting. You got a ton of pieces around this team. You got Gallo. That's somebody else that I was missing. So you still are 9 players deep on the Boston Celtics. And you're still a title contender, and you're that much better. And hopefully, Jason Tatum can learn a lot from Kevin Durant. Seeing Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum working out together. Now, that doesn't mean that, that confirms that a trade is happening, but the fact that the two of them are working out shows that Jason Tatum's trying to elevate his game. He's trying to work better. And who better to learn from than Kevin Durant? Because their skill sets and their type of play styles are very similar. So you have those two working out together. It's a good position to be in if you're Jason Tatum. And so hopefully if Kevin Durant gets to Boston, then he can kind of help Tatum not be as absent in moments. Because that was the problem. There were several games throughout this entire playoff series, but especially the finals, where if you just got 6 points from Jason Tatum, you would have won that game. Right, in the fourth quarter. If Jason Tatum just gave you 2 baskets or was able to draw a couple fouls and get to the free throw line and knock down some free throws, you're probably winning that finals, or at least pretty close. And so that was a big problem. Hopefully with experience, going through that grind, learning from your mistakes, having a guy like Kevin Durant, if he were to come, he can hopefully that would be enough for him to kind of get out of that funk, get out of his own head. Have somebody that he, admires, looks up to, that, is better than he is, which is another problem. Because Jason Tatum, if you're Jason Tatum and you're looking at Jaylen Brown, you're you're not better than me, dude. As great as you are, you're not better than me. Where he could look at Kevin Durant and go, yeah, that guy's better than me. How can I be to his level? And who better to teach you how to get to my level than the guy that is at that level? It's just something that I think is interesting. It's something I just wanted to clarify for people because, like I said, I see the comment a lot on this channel and even my Lakers channel, which I do have a Lakers channel, which I'll have to plug in a moment. But those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that, trade at this point, you got to trade Jaylen Brown? Get it. Go get Kevin Durant because that's a guy that you can get that's an upgrade and you have him for 4 years rather than, riding it out with Jaylen Brown. And then if he leaves, you get him for nothing or you're trading him for somebody that is not Kevin Durant. That is a real possibility. Or do you think no, if you're the Celtics, you take your chances. Jaylen Brown's too good. If he leaves you, he leaves you. But, hopefully he doesn't. However you feel about it. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.